If your school is configured to use standards-based grading, then one or multiple standards can be applied to an assignment. Since this is a standards-based gradebook, under Manage Assignments within Manage Gradebook, the associated standards appear beneath the assignment. There is also an additional column to the right called Input by Standard, which indicates whether an assignment is set to grade in a traditional manner, 1 score per assignment, which appears as no, or if the option says yes, then the assignments will be scored for each individual standard applied. When the assignment is created and the specific standards are applied, you then have the option to input scores by standard, which allows you to apply a set number of points for each standard that applies to the cumulative total for that specific standard, instead of just the overall assignment. Notice this assignment is worth 16 points total, but since I selected the option to enter by standard, I can break down the assignment and assign a value for each standard. Now I can input those scores on any page within the gradebook: scores by assignment, scores by student, and scores by class. On Scores by Assignment, notice the screen has changed a bit from the traditional view. The student row number, permanent ID number, and name are still listed to the left of the page, but the score columns have changed. Each standard selected is listed and has a column to enter the score received for the standard, the number correct possible, which can still be edited for a student, and the percentage, which is a calculation of the number correct divided by the number correct possible and is not editable. A unique comment can be made for each standard for an individual student. To the right of the standards, the date completed can be updated and will default to the due date, and an assignment status can be applied to the assignment as a whole. Notice in the More Options dropdown, another difference with entering scores by standard. I cannot mass assign scores or mass update, but I can still use the Quick Data Entry, which allows me to select any student from the dropdown and tab through each standard number correct field to enter her score. When I hit tab again, I will be able to enter a new student score. When entering scores by student, this page is also a little different than the standard page. The first assignment listed, assignment number 3, is a traditional assignment that was not set to input by standard. Notice this assignment does have standards applying towards it, and since it is not marked as input by standard, then the 13 points applying to this assignment will apply to each standard linked to this assignment. The next assignment listed, assignment number 1, does have the option to input by standard. So each standard applying to this assignment is listed to enter an individual score for each standard. And can also have a max score adjusted for the individual standard and an individual comment for each standard. Notice the date completed and status only have one option per assignment, which are available to edit in the top row of the assignment on the first standard listed. From Scores by Class, the scores can also be edited. Notice that the layout for the assignment scores is a little different for the scores that have input by standard set. The assignment title is still listed, along with the due date, the assignment number, and the total points for the assignment, within the assignment header, but below that, in the dark blue boxes, shows the standard ID number applying to the assignment. If you're not sure what the numbers represent, use the drop-down arrow for the assignment to view the standard IDs and descriptions. You can see all assignments that apply to a standard by using the Show Filters option. By selecting the Show Filters option, and then selecting Standards, a list of standards being used in this gradebook will appear to choose from. Selecting one or more of the standards will filter the Scores by Class page to only list the scores for the selected standards. Once you have selected your standard, click Apply Filters. I can now see that 2 of my assignments apply to this standard, and the overall percentage for this specific standard. To turn the filter off, click Clear Applied Filters, and now I can deselect the Show Filters button. This concludes entering Scores by Standards features. Additional features are available when viewing scores by class, scores by assignment, and scores by student.